Hi there, I'm Rob Bodie Wolf, a live streaming producer here in Portland, Oregon. I run the Wolf Den Music Space, where we're bringing together creative musicians and performers, video and live streaming technology, and virtual reality. Lately, a bunch of us are getting really excited about virtual reality. Even so far that a bunch of friends of mine here in Portland and around the world on virtual communities like Reddit's r/Vive are demoing room-scale virtual reality for you in homes and businesses around this country and around the world. Maybe one of your friends is into virtual reality, or a coworker. Some of us have taken to demoing to friends and families on a weekly basis. Check on the Vive subreddit and I'm sure you'll find a demo in your city or near you. So why is a musician trying to talk to me about virtual reality? Well, hang on, it'll make sense in a second. You can think of this like those days in the 40s when the first televisions were scattered throughout local neighborhoods. We're like those people, trying to tell our friends and neighbors that this is going to be the next big thing. But it turns out to be really surprisingly difficult. A famous VR developer coined the phrase, "Talking about VR is like dancing about architecture." Looking through a 2D monitor at a 3D world just isn't very exciting. It conveys none of the sense of immersion we keep talking about. You have to have a fairly powerful computer and the images have to go by at 90 frames per second. Anything slower in the brain tends to interpret this as seasickness. On the other hand, Google is so convinced that mobile computing will be able to handle the rigors of VR that they've already released a backbone to handle future technology. But you still have to see it to believe it, because talking about VR is like dancing about architecture. Another key component is the ability to interact and track in a meaningful way. Our brains are designed to operate in a 3D space, so tracking and interacting with objects in a virtual 3D space has to be perfect. This one-to-one tracking and our ability to interact and move in that 3D world is the final step in convincing our brains that this is a real world, even when it isn't. And that is why we are so excited. Dreams in a box, all at your fingertips. And VR has tons of other applications. Studies are ongoing regarding the therapeutic uses of VR for depression, pain management, social anxiety disorders, and even Asperger's, Alzheimer's, and autism. They're studying therapeutic uses with regard to aversion therapy for people with phobias and PTSD. But again, you have to see it to believe it. And that's why all of us keep wanting to demo VR. So I'm going to jump in live right now in front of a green screen and show you virtual reality, or at least a little bit of it. So this is me in front of my green screen, and up in the back you're going to see what's actually happening inside the head-mounted display. And this is all happening live. This is Destinations, a photogrammetry project. That's where they take real photographs, stitch them together, and make virtual worlds. Here we're in a 3D representation of Mars built by the photographs taken by this guy over here. We can actually step on the surface of Mars, and if we don't want to take just a few steps, we can teleport. This represents as accurate a picture of what it would be like to stand on Mars as we can have at this moment. And it's available here at our homes. We can visit other virtual places as well. Places that we couldn't normally get to. And even places that might seem a little scary. This is the Blue, an example of what it's like to be underwater. In this virtual world, I can stand safely on a sunken ship under the ocean. And I can see all the wonder. And I can see everything from the safety of my own home. And believe me, there's a lot to see. Hey there, big guy. And this is certainly something I could never do in real life. I'm seeing this all around me, and I can interact with it. Google's Tilt Brush allows you to draw, not just a flat painting, but a painting in 3 dimensions. And because it's a virtual world that we can control, we can paint with things that we normally couldn't paint with, like fire. And even stars. This is Sculpt VR, where you get to not just draw in 3 dimensions, but sculpt. And erase. We can even find ourselves with a completely new perspective on things we could never see. And sometimes the simplest experiences can be the most pleasant. like this VistaScape's relaxation room. You can enjoy a pleasant rainy day in a cottage, find solace looking over a mountain vista, or even launch your own virtual fireworks demonstration. And that was just a very brief tour of the virtual reality available inside the HTC roomscale VR head-mounted display. That room scale aspect is what allows us to walk around inside that virtual world, interact in the most natural way possible with our bodies. There are way more active VR titles that let you run and jump and play around as much as your heart can take. And as more devices accept virtual input, we're going to see more and more interaction between the real and virtual worlds. We're going to see online and virtual socializing take on whole new meaning. So when a friend or coworker tries to convince you to have a go at their Vive, go for it. You'll quickly become convinced that there are amazing, imaginative experiences waiting just inside that headset for you too. And they're only getting better every week. If you need a demo in Portland, talk to our local community of VR enthusiasts, and I'm sure somebody will want to demonstrate for you. Or come to the Wolf Den on a Friday night for one of our VR open houses, or our Monday free student access hours. If you're looking for a demo in your city, check for commercial demonstrations, or check the subreddit of the Vive subcommunity for local demonstrators. We're convinced you'll be as amazed as we are. And as to why is a musician talking to you about virtual reality? Well, talking about virtual reality is like dancing about architecture. And musicians are excellent at keeping you dancing. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. From the Wolf Den, I'm Rob Bodie-Wolf, and I'll see you online in VR. Hal back.